and welcome to Wayland Sports Chat, a brand new sports show here at Wayland High School. I am Max Brand, and joined alongside me is Aiden Shakara and Josh Schreiber. Today we will be talking about 4 sports-related topics going on around the country. Our first topic will be the NCAA Tournament. Our second topic will be the NHL and NBA playoffs are fast approaching. And our third topic will be spring sports starting at Wayland High School. And our fourth topic will be MLB contracts, including Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Chris Sale, and Manny Machado. All right, let's begin. Hey Josh, why don't you talk to me about our NCAA tournament?
Yeah, so far in the NCAA tournament, we've had a total of 15 upsets actually. Many of which have been some like 9/8 or 10/7, but we've also had some actually quite big upsets. We had probably the biggest of which was UC Irvine when they took down when they took down Kansas State, the 4 seed, UC Irvine being the 13. Another big upset was Mississippi State lost to Liberty, and other than that, we had not a huge upset tournament, but some really good games so far. And we had a perfect bracket that actually just went up until the Sweet 16 when Purdue beat Tennessee. So some good tournament play so far. Yeah.
Hey Josh, can you tell me how many 5-12 upsets there were this year? Because typically there's a lot of 5-12 upsets. So what's the history behind that, and how did that impact this year?
Yeah, absolutely. There were actually 3 12/5 upsets this year out of 4. And really over the history of the tournament, a lot of analysts have said that these 12/5 upsets, you have to look for them because they're actually quite common. And Oregon ended up beating UC Irvine, Oregon being the 12 seed, UC Irvine the 13 seed, in the round of 32 to make it to the Sweet 16. Then lost a tough one to UVA, but they made a good run all the way to the Sweet 16, especially as a 12 seed. So that was very impressive.
So Josh, there have been insane contracts in the MLB. One of the big ones being Mike Trout with $430 million. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, this year teams have really started to realize the importance of locking up your big franchise players early. As we've seen, Harper signed, it wasn't an extension, a free agent deal. Harper and Machado both signing those big free agent deals worth over $300 million. And then the Red Sox locked up Chris Sale. The Rays locked up Blake Snell, Yankees with Luis Severino, Phillies with Aaron Nola. Just a ton of extensions for these aces of these teams. And then obviously Mike Trout, he deserves it, but 12 years, almost $430 million guaranteed. What a contract for him at only 27 years old.
Yeah, a little footnote for you. Between Machado, Trout, and Bryce Harper, the average contract is $353 million and 11.6 years. That's insane to me.
Yeah, that's really unbelievable. And all of it is guaranteed, which is the difference between baseball and many other sports. Is almost all the money is guaranteed all the time.
That's one of the biggest contracts in history, isn't it? $430 million.
Yeah, it is the biggest contract, and almost by $100 million. Who Harper had just a week earlier signed a $330 million deal. I believe Trout's was about $426 million. So really just blew everyone out of the water.
While we're talking about the MLB, opening day was actually just yesterday. Red Sox lost in Seattle, but I don't know if you guys watched the Los Angeles Dodgers game, but there were so many home runs in that game, and it's been more recently there've been more and more home runs in the MLB, and I'm curious to see what it's going to be like this year. I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely, Max. The Dodgers had 8 home runs yesterday against the Diamondbacks. That's really a staggering number. It's actually the record for opening day home runs, and it tied the Dodgers franchise record for most home runs in a game, not just on opening day. So that really shows you the route that these MLB teams have been taking, with the Yankees beating the home run record last year, looking to do it again this year, and just all around, all these teams with unbelievable home run statistics, and the average has been dropping due to the sudden outburst of home runs.
So Max, in opening day, the Red Sox fell to the Seattle Mariners last night. Can you Tell me a little bit about that game. Do you have any concerns about the Red Sox after watching them give up 5 home runs on opening day? Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do, Wayland. My biggest concern of the Boston Red Sox this year is their bullpen. I've heard several sports analysts talk about it, and their bullpen, it's going to need some work this year if they want to win games late. It certainly is going to need some work. I thought Chris Sale pitched a very good game yesterday, even though they ended up with a loss. I was not disappointed in Chris Sale's game yesterday, not by any means.
Yeah, well, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on that one. I mean, he only went 3 innings, gave up 7 earned runs. I don't think it's anything to worry about by any means. Chris, obviously, it's the first game of the year, starting off on the West Coast. It's a very difficult thing to do after getting that huge contract. Also, 5 years,
Absolutely.
$145 million. But Chris Sale, really, what he was doing, I watched the game. He was really just missing spots, trying to get the ball up. He couldn't get it up enough. Batters were just teeing off of him, and then he couldn't get the ball outside of the strike zone when he needed to, and the Mariners hitters made him pay. That really good lineup that the Mariners have.
Yeah, their newest addition, one of their new additions, Edward Encarnacion, great game yesterday as well.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned with the Red Sox in the long run. I'm just saying that
No.
bullpen, I'm curious to see what happens with it because it's not the strongest they've had.
Yeah.
But I'm confident in saying that I'm not concerned with the Boston Red Sox as a whole down the road.
Let's
Yeah.
shift our focus from the MLB to the NHL and NBA playoffs. Max, let's first start with the NHL playoffs. What do you have going on there? Can you give me some stats?
Yeah, I love when this time rolls around. NHL playoffs are one of the best times of the year. 7 teams total have qualified for the NHL playoffs so far. In the Eastern Conference, the Boston Bruins, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Washington Capitals have all clinched playoffs. And in the Western Conference, Calgary, San Jose, Winnipeg, and Nashville have all clinched playoffs. So 7 teams out of, 32, Aiden?
Yep, 32 or 31 with the expansion of the Golden
so
Knights.
7 out of 31 have qualified for the playoffs this year, which means not even half of the spots are full, with only about 6 games left. So it should be a really fun rest of the season for the NHL.
Yeah.
Josh, why don't you talk a little bit about the NBA?
Yeah, so with the NBA playoffs coming up, a little bit of a disappointment so far for Boston fans with the Celtics having a bit of a tough season. They're in the 5 seed right now. If the playoffs were to start today, they would face the Indiana Pacers, but they would not have home court advantage for that series. So a little bit concerning. But what we have seen so far out of the Eastern Conference at least is the Milwaukee Bucks, the Toronto Raptors, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Indiana Pacers have all clinched the playoffs. So we've seen a lot of really good play out of the Eastern Conference this year as opposed to just really LeBron James last year in the past, 14 years he made the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, just dominating everyone with 8 in a row, I believe it was, in the NBA championship. So we're definitely going to see a new team out of the East in the NBA Finals this year.
Yeah, an interesting little stat for you, Josh. The Orlando Magic and the Charlotte Hornets are both the first 2 teams out right now.
Yeah.
And the Magic are 19.5 games back from that 8th spot, and the Charlotte Hornets are 20.5 games back. So,
yeah. I believe it's actually they're 19.5 games back out of the first place, but they're closing in on the 8th seed along with the Magic. Well, right now it's March right now, and Kemba Walker has really been playing out of his mind as he did about 9 years ago when he played for UConn, led them to that national championship. Kemba Walker has really been the heart and soul of that Charlotte Hornets team, and he really wants to show the city of Charlotte that he can lead them to the playoffs.
So let's wrap up today's show talking a little bit about the spring sports here at Wayland High School. So the boys volleyball team had a scrimmage yesterday, and they won that scrimmage 3-0 in sets. So that was a good victory for them. Just a scrimmage, so nothing too big to worry about, nothing to get all excited about. But Josh, Max, can you tell me a little bit about the baseball and how that's getting underway?
Yeah, Josh, you want to start here?
Yeah, so the baseball team has a scrimmage in Belmont today. They are coming off their first scrimmage in East Boston, in which they won 20-2. Really, just a dominant performance. They've had many rough years in the past where they haven't made the playoffs and have just had really bad seasons overall. But with the young team last year just got older, they just lost one senior. It's going to be really a big season, hopefully, for Wayland baseball.
Aiden, you're a member of the lacrosse team. Why don't you talk a little bit about the lacrosse team?
Yes, the lacrosse team lost 20 seniors last year, so it's very much a new and a young team with the boys lacrosse team. So the boys lacrosse team had a scrimmage against Dexter Southfield on Wednesday, and it was a close game, a 5-4 loss, but it was good. So looking forward to the season, and it's going to be good.
So before we wrap up the show here, really quickly, boys, your predictions for the NCAA tournament.
I had Duke win it all from the beginning. I'm going to hold true to that statement. They play Virginia Tech tonight, and I think they should win that and keep rolling.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Gonzaga Bulldogs. They have Brandon Clark playing out of his mind, Rui Achimura, great coach and Mark Few. They're looking really good.
I'm going to go with Aiden on this one. I got Duke winning, and I have a Duke versus UNC Part 4 National Championship. So if that holds out, it should be really, really fun to watch.
Thank you for joining us on Wayland Sports Chat today. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.